This is Lecture 9.2, Journalizing Cash Payments Using a Cash Payments Journal. This is found on page 242 of your book. This is kind of the same thing that we did in our last section with a purchasing journal, but now we are going to journalize cash payments in a special journal as well. A special journal used to record only cash payments transactions is called a cash payments journal, okay? And we know that. Okay, this is what a cash payments journal would look like. Kind of like our purchases journal, there are more options of places where you can enter things in, but again, you'll only record on one line instead of a double line like we did in our general journal. So here we go. November 2nd, we paid cash for advertising $150. So we need to look and see what our transaction is really telling us. It's telling us that we've paid cash and that we, in return, have gotten advertising. So we're going to write the date, November 2nd. We know that advertising is an expense, so we will call this advertising expense. We did this with the check number 292, and the amount was $150. So we have a column here only for cash credit. So anytime that cash is credited, the number will go here, okay? So we have our cash credit here. We know we need to debit something, okay? And we know this is an expense, so we know that we need to debit advertising expense. So we can look, is this a purchases discount credit? Nope. Is it accounts payable credit? Nope. It's actually advertising expense debit. So we will put that like it's in our general journal, okay, because advertising expense would go there. So what I generally do, if you're not sure right off the bat how to journalize it, put what you know in first, which would be a cash credit, and then go back through your other options and see, does it make sense to go in there? Did it say accounts payable? No. Did it say purchases discount? No. Then it must be a general, and if we've credited our cash here, then it must be a debit here. The other way we know this is a debit is because we always know that expenses are debited. November 5th, paid cash for office supplies, $94. We've written our date, our account title, supplies office, our check number, 293, and our amount. Same thing here. Supplies office is our account, 94 debit, and a cash credit of 94. Purchase merchandise for cash, okay, $600. So now let's think about this. Purchased merchandise for cash. Okay, we are in our cash payments journal because it's telling us that we have paid cash. Okay, so we're going to write our date, which is the 7th, and our account title is going to be purchases. This gets a little bit confusing. You just really have to think about what you're doing here. Okay, we need to go back maybe and look at what the difference is between what would go in a purchases journal and what would go in a cash payments journal for a purchase. So if you would now go back to page 239, this is where you're going to see an example of what would go in a purchases journal. Purchase merchandise on account from Crown Distributing. Okay, so that is an accounts payable. So in that purchases journal, we're going to write Crown Distributing, and we are going to do our accounts payable. This is if we have paid cash for a purchase. So this will say purchase here. So notice the difference between those two transactions so that you understand which journal you're going to journal it in. Okay. Check number, we're going to have a general debit in our purchases journal of $600 and a cash credit. November 8th. Paid cash on account to Gulf Craft Supply 48804 covering purchase invoice number 82 for $498 less a 2% discount $9.96. Check number 302. Okay? So if you look here, now I've gone back in my book here. I'm going to go back to the correct page. If you look on page, let's see. Okay, 245. This will start explaining to us about in 244 and 245 about our discounts and our contra accounts and what we're going to use to journalize all these different things. Okay, so before we get into this actual transaction, I want to look at page 244, and it says the retail price listed in a catalog or on an internet site is called the list price. Okay? When a merchandising business purchases a number of products from a manufacturer, a price is frequently quoted as a list price less a trade discount. So a reduction in this list price granted to customers is called a trade discount. Trade discounts are also used to quote different prices for different quantities. So, for example, if I am the Edge and I am in charge of purchasing T-shirts in order to resell them, and I'm going to buy 5,000 Nike T-shirts, they are going to give me a huge trade discount off of that list price. So if the Nike T-shirts are listed at $10, and you go to this website and you want to buy one Nike T-shirt, you're going to pay $10. They're not going to give you a trade discount because you're not helping out their business. If I buy thousands of T-shirts, if I buy 5,000 or whatever, they're going to give me a trade discount, and they're going to let me know what percentage of a discount they're going to give me based on the quantity of T-shirts or whatever the product is that I'm going to buy. So if you look down in that little green box, it says total list price is $1,500. They've given a 60% discount, trade discount rate, so all we're going to do is take that trade discount off right off the top. So we're going to take 1,500 times 0.6, and that will give us $900. We need to subtract that $900 from our list price to figure out what's going to be coming on our invoice. Okay, so again, we're going to take our list price, take 60% off of that, okay, and to get our $600 invoice amount. Okay. When you look at a transaction like we have here in this transaction on this PowerPoint, those are called a discount, like 2%. So if you look where it says on the very top of page 245, a cash discount is stated as a percentage deducted from the invoice amount. For example, 210 N30, 210 net 30 is a common term of sale for which 210 net 30. 210 means that 2% of the invoice amount may be deducted if the invoice is paid within 10 days of the invoice date. Net 30 means that the total invoice amount must be paid in 30 days. So, let's look at the example in the book. November 8th, I paid cash on account to Gulf Craft Supply 48804, covering a purchase invoice number 82 for $498, less a 2% discount, $996. I guess this is the same example. Perfect. Okay. So what this is saying, 210 net 30. It's written 2/10, comma N/30. We use this all the time. These are very, very common terms. That means the 2 is 2%. So you get 2% off if you pay in 10 days. But no matter what, the entire amount is for sure due in 30 days. So if on January 1st you get 210 net 30, if you pay by January 10th, you get 2% off. If you pay sometime between the 11th and the 30th, you don't get any percentage off, but your amount is due in full in 30 days. Okay, so businesses really want to take advantage of this 210 net 30. 2% does not seem like much to you, but if they're paid thousands and thousands of dollars, they want to make sure I've paid in my 10 days so that I can get this 2% discount. And if I do that on every purchase that I'm making or everything that I'm buying, I can end up saving quite a bit of money. So we're going to write the date, write the account title of the vendor, Gulf Craft Supply, check number 302. Now it says write the debit amount. And the debit amount is the purchase invoice that we are working with. So that is that $498. Okay, so number 82 was $498. Okay, our purchases discount will be whatever the 2% is, $996. Okay, and the cash is what we're actually going to pay. So these two credit columns, when we add those together, should equal this debit column. Okay, so think about just logically, okay, if you're getting a discount, the amount you're paying, your cash, should be less than the amount you're supposed to be paying. And the difference should be whatever your discount is. Okay, so think about this logically so that you're not getting these three numbers screwed up. November 13th, paid cash on account to American Paint, $26.50, covering purchase invoice number 77. Okay, this is an easy one. We're going to write the date, right? The vendor, account title, American Paint, check number. Here is my accounts payable debit and my cash credit. You guys know how to do that. Okay, that is just something, sorry, that does not have a purchase discount. Okay, and some don't. Here are your terms to review. You should know those now. If you do not, go back and reread. Let's talk, I guess, real quick about this contra account. Purchases discounts are recorded in a general ledger account titled Purchases Discount. An account that reduces a related account on a financial statement is called a contra account. Okay, so this purchases discount is going to reduce the amount of the purchases of whatever that, purchases discount is a contra account to purchases and is included on the cost of merchandise division in the general ledger. So it reduces the amount of that purchases account. Okay, so a contra account, let's read it again, is an account that reduces the related account on a financial statement. Okay, again, if you do not understand this chapter, please go back and reread before you move on.